Mom and Dad gave me a bank card and transferred 20,000 yuan to me every month as living expenses. But they never told me the PIN, so I can't take out a single cent. I couldn't afford to eat, so I applied for financial aid for impoverished students, but my mom cursed me out. We gave you the bank card, and you still get 20,000 every month, yet you're still ungrateful, you little wretch. Until one day, my dad suddenly fell into a coma and needed money to save his life. My mom knelt down and begged me to hand over the living expenses they had transferred to me over the years. I threw the bank card onto the ground. Mom, you forgot. You never told me the PIN. This money can't be withdrawn. My mom's face turned deathly pale. Late at night, my phone buzzed twice. My mom sent a screenshot. Transfer out 20,000, note, living expenses. Theodore, here's this month's living expenses, 20,000. I've transferred it to you. Don't hold back at school. The light from my phone screen reflected on my face as I stared at the numbers, a chill creeping through my fingertips. Mom, I want to talk to you about something. My mom seemed in a good mood at the moment. Sure, go ahead. I took a deep breath, trying to make my voice sound less tense. Could you tell me the PIN for the bank card? 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. I held my breath. The time on my phone jumped from 9:27 to 10:45 before my mom sent another message. Why do you suddenly need the PIN? Have you gotten into bad habits out there? 20,000 a month and you're still not satisfied? I gripped my phone tightly, my heart pounding wildly. No, Mom. You transferred the living expenses into the card but didn't tell me the PIN. I can't withdraw a single cent lately, I've been surviving on plain buns, and I really can't hold on much longer. I don't need that much money a month, 500 is enough. Just transfer it to me on WeChat. Don't use the bank card anymore. I can't withdraw it. The next moment, my mom's name flashed on the screen. I quickly put on my earphones. Theodore, have I treated you badly? 20,000 every month. I even gave you the bank card, and you still want more? So many demands, you ungrateful little wretch. Mom, it's useless if you give me the card but I don't know the PIN. My mom's voice turned shrill in an instant. Why should I tell you the PIN? That money belongs to your father and me. We're not dead yet, and you're already eyeing our property? Do you have no shame? I gave you the card, I transferred the money, and now you want the PIN? How dare you? You're insatiable. I immediately understood her unspoken meaning. The money was transferred for show, not for me to spend. The call ended. I climbed down from my bunk, took out a plain bun from a plastic bag, and slowly took a bite. The bun was cold and hard. I choked a little and quickly gulped down some cold water. My roommate peeked out from behind his bed curtain, his face sympathetic. Theodore, eating plain buns again? Your parents haven't transferred your living expenses? I nodded. It's ridiculous to say, but my other roommates get by nicely on 2,000 a month. I get 20,000 a month but can't touch a single cent, surviving only on part-time jobs. I've lived like this for 3 whole years. The next morning, I tried to open my eyes, but my eyelids were heavy and wouldn't lift. My throat felt like it was stuffed with coal, painful and dry. I forced myself to sit up and checked my temperature with a thermometer. 38.7 degrees Celsius 101.7 degrees Fahrenheit. A few messages popped up on my phone. Theodore, it's 9 a.m. Why aren't you here yet? Our part-time job pays daily. With my condition today, there's no way I can work. I opened WeChat. Balance, 3.52 yuan. That's not even enough to buy a pack of cold medicine. Helpless, I had no choice but to call my mom. Mom, I have a fever, over 38 degrees. Can you transfer me a little money so I can go to the school clinic and buy some medicine? I was met with a torrent of abuse. Didn't I just transfer you 20,000 yesterday? Now you're asking for more money again. You're like a vampire, sucking us dry, aren't you satisfied? My face burned, but my hands were ice cold. I slid down onto a chair, my voice hoarse with anger. Yes, you transfer me 20,000 every month and gave me a bank card. But you won't tell me the PIN. That card is nothing but a worthless piece of plastic to me. For 3 years, do you know how I've gotten by every month? I've handed out flyers, tutored kids, washed dishes. I've paid for all my living expenses myself, not a single cent of yours. You transfer money into the card but won't let me spend it. Who exactly are you putting on a show for? There was a moment of silence on the other end, followed by my mom's sharp scream. What? We're good to you, and instead of being grateful, you blame us? I gave you the card. Whether you can withdraw the money is your problem. Serves you right. My dad tried to mediate. Theodore, you're still young now. Once you start working, I'll definitely tell you the PIN. Don't you dare tell him the PIN, my mom shrieked. What does a boy like him need so much money for? He'll just use it for drinking, gambling, and whoring. I can't lose face like that. I wiped my tears and swallowed the bitterness along with them. I borrowed money from a roommate. On my way back, I scrolled through Mateo's moments thanks to my employer's wife for the treat. Mateo is the son of Rose, our family's nanny. My mom dotes on him more than she does on me, her own son. The accompanying photo showed a 5,000 yuan WeChat transfer from my mom, with a note, buy some snacks. The plastic bag in my hand crashed to the ground with a loud rustle. Mateo, a stranger with no relation to my mom, gets 5,000 yuan tossed to him casually. And me, her own son, burning with fever, had to borrow money just to buy a pack of cold medicine. A few days later, the school began accepting applications for financial aid for impoverished students. I filled out the materials and submitted them. Not long after, they were rejected. When I found out, I couldn't help but rush to the office. Teacher, my financial situation is difficult. I've been working part-time jobs and meet the poverty criteria. Why was my application rejected? The teacher didn't look at me. She took a sip of tea from her cup and then placed it back where it was. The office was silent. No one answered me, only the sound of fingers tapping on keyboards. This disregard filled me with a vague sense of foreboding. I stepped forward and repeated myself clearly and loudly. Teacher, why was my financial aid application not approved? What's the reason? The teacher finally looked up. She adjusted her glasses, a faint smirk on her face. Theodore, first and foremost, you need to learn how to be a decent person while at school. If someone's foundation is rotten and their morals are corrupt, then even good grades are useless. Her voice wasn't loud, but it reached everyone in the office. A chill ran through me. What do you mean by that? Theodore, your mother just called me personally. She said she transfers 20,000 yuan to you every month. Do you know what 20,000 yuan means? It's what many people work hard for half a year to earn. How can you have the nerve to claim you're impoverished? I opened my mouth, trying to defend myself. It's true my parents transfer 20,000 every month, but the money is in the bank card. They refused to tell me the PIN, so I. Theodore, please stop making excuses for yourself. A mistake is a mistake. You're an adult, don't you even have that much courage? Sweat dripped from my forehead onto my faded, worn-out shirt. I clenched my fists. You can check my spending records, check the bank statements. I really. Enough. You're supposedly an educated university student, but how can you be so thick-skinned? Get out now. Stop taking up financial aid spots meant for genuinely needy students. Also, let me inform you, this financial aid slot will go to Mateo. A chill shot straight up my spine. Why? Mateo spends his days traveling, gaming, watching movies, and living better than most students. What right does he have to financial aid? The teacher slammed the desk, making it rattle. Because Mateo's mother works as a nanny in your house. Her life isn't easy. Just for that reason alone, the financial aid will go to him, not to someone like you. In the office, everyone's eyes were on me, contemptuous, mocking, gloating. A few phones were subtly aimed my way. I don't know how long I stood there. Finally, another teacher, unable to bear it, whispered, "Student, leave quickly. If you keep digging in your heels, you'll only end up worse off." Back in the dorm, when I greeted him, the roommate I was closest to turned away, his tone icy. "Theodore, I never thought you were this kind of person. Acting poor in front of us when you're actually loaded. Pay me back the money I lent you, ASAP." After transferring the money to my roommate, my dad called. "Theodore, I heard about the financial aid. Don't be angry. Your mother meant well." "Dad, Mom transferred 5,000 to Mateo a couple of days ago. You knew about that, right?" Silence on the other end. I clenched my teeth, my nails digging into my palm. "She transfers 5,000 to a nanny's son but won't give a single cent to her own son, not even 500. Is that right?" "That's different. Rose has it hard. Your mother has a kind heart." I laughed out loud. "Kind heart? A kind heart lets me go without food? It's not like Mateo's mother is dead. What's it to you? Have you lost your minds?" My dad sounded annoyed. "Theodore, how can you talk like that?" "I'll talk however I want. The summer before senior year of high school, you took Mateo abroad on vacation and made me get a summer job. When university started, I took a 9-hour hard seat train by myself while you personally drove Mateo to his university for registration. Now, I have zero living expenses, and he's living it up on your money. You're both sick. Mentally ill." My dad was breathing heavily on the other end. He was furious but couldn't refute me because I was telling the truth. "Dad, you're the one who opened this bank card. Tell me, what's the PIN?" Before my dad could answer, my mom's yell cut through. "If you dare tell him the PIN, I'll divorce you today. We might as well call it quits." My dad stammered again. "Theodore, once you're a bit more mature, I'll definitely give you the PIN." I curled my lip. Forget it. I'd heard that sentence ever since I got the card, for 3 whole years. I was tired of it. I took out the bank card, the one that always returned incorrect PIN no matter how many times I tried. I stared at it for a few seconds, then slammed it onto the ground with all my might. Until late that night, I was suddenly jolted awake by a frantic ringing. My mom was sobbing, gasping for breath. "Theodore, come home right away. Something's happened to your dad." I bought the earliest train ticket and rushed back. The house was already packed with relatives. At the sound of my arrival, the whole group turned to look at me in unison. I stood in the doorway. My mom lunged at me, nearly knocking me over. "Theodore, your dad suddenly got sick. He's in the hospital, unconscious. The doctor says he needs surgery immediately, and it'll cost over 300,000. My grip on my suitcase handle tightened. My mom looked at me and finally revealed her true intention. "We've been transferring you 20,000 every month, right? Over 3 years, that should be 3 or 400,000, shouldn't it? Take it all out and save your dad." I rubbed my arm, sore from the collision, and said nothing. "Theodore." My mom's voice was piercing. "That's your father. You have all that money in your card, money we gave you, and now you're watching him die? Have you no conscience? Oh, my fate is so bitter. I might as well die." My mom wailed, but her eyes kept darting toward me. The relatives hurried to comfort her, their looks toward me growing more reproachful. "Theodore, how can you be so heartless? That money belongs to your parents. Hand over the bank card immediately." I sneered, unlocked my phone, and played a recording, turning the volume to max. Suddenly, my mom's venomous, contemptuous curses filled the entire room. "Why should I tell you the PIN? That money belongs to your father and me. We're not dead yet, and you're already eyeing our property? Do you have no shame? If you dare tell him the PIN, I'll divorce you today. We might as well call it quits." The recording ended. The room was dead silent. I put my phone away and threw the bank card onto the floor with a sharp clatter. "Mom, you forgot. You never told me the PIN. This money? can't be withdrawn. Under the shocked gazes of the relatives, my mom's face turned deathly pale. My aunt was the first to react, her face full of disbelief. Sis, is Theodore telling the truth? You transferred him money but didn't give him the PIN? What were you thinking? My mom flinched and instinctively shook her head. No, that's not true. He's talking nonsense. I pressed play on the recording again, the abusive words grating on my mom's ears. Why should I tell you the PIN? That money belongs to your father and me. Do you have no shame? My mom let out a shriek. I smiled and waved my phone at her. Not admitting it? I've saved the recordings, the chat logs, and the screenshots of you transferring money to Mateo. My aunt frowned, her tone now laced with anger. Sis, am I seeing this right? Your own son can't even afford fever medicine, yet you're sending pocket money to a nanny's kid, 5,000 yuan in one go. Is that right? And you always brag to us about how much you dote on Theodore. Turns out you've never given him a cent of living expenses. How can you be so cruel? In the ensuing silence, the atmosphere subtly shifted. The relative who had been supporting my mom shoved her away and wiped her hand, undisguised contempt in her eyes. By now, my mom couldn't string together a coherent sentence. For her, this was public execution. The image of the loving mother she had so carefully cultivated, the face she valued so much, her dignity, all of it shattered in an instant. After a long pause, she finally burst into aggrieved sobs. I don't know the PIN either. I'm only responsible for the transfers. Your dad opened the card. Only he knows the PIN. I inserted the bank card into the ATM slot. My dad's birthday, incorrect. My mom's birthday, incorrect. Last 6 digits of his ID, incorrect. 3 wrong attempts, and the card was locked. I went home and rifled through my dad's bedroom. My dad had a habit of jotting down important events in a notebook. Maybe the PIN was in there. And indeed, I found a notebook. It was a secret crush diary. When I saw the name written in it, I couldn't believe my eyes. May 23, 2002, in the end, I still had to part with Rose. What cruel fate, why did her family have to encounter that accident? February 26, 2004, I ran into Rose again today. She's still as beautiful as ever. She cried to me, saying her husband treats her terribly. March 1, 2004, Rose and I crossed the line. I've wronged Paris, but I couldn't help it. August 25, 2005, Rose and I had a son. But I can't get a divorce just yet. I have no choice but to have Rose come work as a nanny in our house. Rose is our family's nanny. Then, in a drawer, I found a paternity test report. The conclusion on the last page read, supports the biological father-son relationship between James and Mateo. Back at the ATM, I entered Rose's birthday. PIN correct. But when I saw the balance, I gasped. 28.80 yuan. The family that claimed to transfer me 20,000 every month, after 3 years, there was only 28.80 yuan left in the card. My phone vibrated in my pocket. My mom's voice was urgent. Theodore, how's it going? How many tens of thousands are left in the card? Hand it over first to pay for your dad's surgery. I stared ahead, my voice very calm. Mom, the surgery's off. There's only a bit over 20 yuan in the card. When I arrived, Mateo was already by my mom's side, whispering soothing words to comfort her. My mom's eyes were red from crying, and she kept muttering. How could this be? How can there only be a bit over 20? I personally transferred the money every month on my phone. It can't be this little. Mom, are you sure you didn't transfer it to the wrong place? There really is only this much left in the card. Mateo glanced at me and deliberately raised his voice. Theodore, don't take this the wrong way, but the card is in your hands. How could you not know where the money went? Could it be that you guessed the PIN long ago and secretly spent it all? My mom stopped crying and looked at me suspiciously. She lowered her voice. Theodore, tell me the truth. Did you spend the money privately? I looked at my mom. This woman, related to me by blood, who should be the closest person to me in the world, she was doubting her son of over 20 years and believing an outsider. I asked her back, Mom, what do you think? My mom lowered her head, hedging, Theodore, Mom knows you're upset, but still, this money was given by us. It's not yours. You'd better hand it over quickly. I stood up and said each word clearly, I didn't spend the money in the card. Mateo jumped up, his finger almost poking me in the eye. You spent it. It must have been you. Theodore, your uncle is hovering between life and death, and you're still thinking about his life-saving money? You're despicable. He put on a righteous, indignant act, drawing stares from passers-by. My mom, seeing this, pinched me hard. Where did the money go? Tell me. Are you trying to kill your father? I pushed my mom away and looked her straight in the eye. I told you, I didn't spend the money. I'm going to request a bank statement for this card right now. Mateo's body stiffened instantly. He hurried to block me, shouting, what's the point of requesting a statement? Saving your uncle's life is what matters. I think you're just trying to run away. In the scuffle, Mateo clung to my clothes, scratching several bloody marks on my neck with his nails. I slapped him back. Mateo yelped, his eyes reddening. I seized the chance to break free and pointed at the surveillance camera above. Harassment. Wait for the police to come. I don't think you need to worry about your graduate school recommendation anymore. Hearing that I was going to call the police, the color drained from Mateo's face. He collapsed onto the bench with a thud. My mom tried to say something, but I had already turned and headed for the bank. The result was exactly as I expected. On the long string of statements, all the names were Mateo and Rose. Up until 3 days ago, my dad had used the mobile banking app to transfer the last sum to Mateo, a full 50,000 yuan. I slapped the statement directly onto Mateo's face. Explain this. My mom leaned in for a closer look and let out a shriek. Why was my husband transferring money to you too? What's going on here? Facing the accusation, Mateo instinctively stepped back half a pace, his eyes darting. He was good-looking, but his face wore an expression of pure innocence. Auntie, listen to me. Uncle Yuan was just kind-hearted. He felt sorry for me and my mom and wanted to help us out. How was I supposed to know he was using money from that card? My mom's raised hand froze mid-air, unsure whether to strike or not. To make it worse, a few passers-by pointed and whispered, look, another wife throwing a fit, thinking every woman is after her husband, and taking it out on a student. Mateo tilted his chin up, a flicker of triumph in his eyes. But I didn't give him a chance to keep acting. I handed the diary, along with the paternity test report, to my mom. After reading them, my mom went berserk. With a howl, she charged like a bull, knocking Mateo to the ground. She grabbed him by the hair with one hand and swung the other. After 2 slaps, Mateo's cheek quickly swelled, turning from crimson to puffy in just seconds. His screams were soon drowned out by my mom's curses. Bastard! You and your mother are both bastards. Homewreckers. Instead of staying in school, you specialize in breaking up families. I'm going to report you. Right under my nose, you steal my husband. Living in my house, eating my food, drinking my drinks, shameless. I'll kill you. Everyone stop. Several police officers rushed over. Mateo took the chance to kick my mom away, tears and snot smeared all over his face. Officers, I'm a law-abiding citizen. You have to help me. You, and you, all of you, come to the station with us. My mom and Mateo were taken away. The doctor called out from the doorway. Is the family of James here? The doctor looked at me and sighed, the patient's condition is very bad. It's unlikely he'll regain consciousness. But if we operate, he could live a bit longer. I looked away. Doctor, we're not going to treat him. Not treat him? Are you sure? I looked toward the hospital room. My dad hadn't opened his eyes since the day he was admitted. Yes, not treat him. After all, he betrayed the family. There has to be a price. Dead men tell no tales. Only when he's dead can I let bygones be bygones. By the time my mom was released, my dad had already been reduced to a handful of ashes. At the funeral, Mateo and Rose swaggered in and slammed a stack of documents onto the table. In Lao Yuan's will, he stated that all his vehicles and property go to us, mother and son. You can move out now. My mom trembled as she flipped through a couple of pages. When she saw that my dad had written in the will that all his remaining assets would be inherited by Rose and her son, she nearly choked. Theodore, your father is so heartless. I was married to him for over 20 years. Come take a look. I remember you know some lawyer friend, right? Ask them to help. This distribution of property isn't fair. I didn't take the document, nor did I look at my mom. My mom's voice grew quieter and quieter. Since it was Dad's wish, let it be. The dead are to be honored. There's nothing more to say. This isn't fair. At least the house should be mine. I'm the legal wife. Theodore, you've lost your mind, siding with those two bastards against your own mother. I gave my mom a cold, hard look. Mom, we live in a society governed by law. Everything must be based on reason. Illegitimate children also have the right to inherit. Besides, fighting a lawsuit costs money for lawyers, and I don't have the energy. If you hadn't stopped Dad from telling me the pin, he wouldn't have died, and the house wouldn't have fallen into someone else's hands. Besides, you used to go on and on about how Rose and her son had it hard, telling me to give in to them. Well, now the house is gone, and your righteousness is fulfilled. My mom swayed, her lips pale. She barely managed to steady herself against the table. Rose and her son, beaming with joy, took the will and left triumphantly. But I never expected my mom to stir up more trouble. #Parents transfer 20,000 monthly to son for living expenses, only 28.80 yuan left when he tries to withdraw. #Man with millions in bank deposits refuses to help dying father. #Mother ousted by mistress, biological son sides with the other woman, let her have the house. My academic advisor called me into the office, Theodore, there are even funeral wreaths at the school gate. The impact is terrible. If you don't handle this yourself, we'll have no choice but to give you a disciplinary sanction. I nodded and said nothing. As soon as I reached the entrance of my rental apartment, I noticed red paint splashed on the door, with 2 large characters, "Go die." The landlord rushed over, her face full of disgust. "Kid, why do you have so many problems? Renting to you has been my worst luck. Get out by the end of the month. Don't hold up my business. And clean up that paint on the door immediately. What kind of person drags others into their mess?" I opened my phone. WeChat messages had already exceeded 999 plus, most of them personal attacks. My phone number had also been leaked. Every time I answered, the caller immediately started cursing. Unfilial brat. Scumbag. Your mother should have drowned you in a toilet bowl at birth. Dude, you're pretty impressive, sympathizing with a mistress? You in the same line of work? Your ass sore? How did your mother raise such a piece of trash? Heaven is watching. You'll get what's coming to you. I entered my mom's live stream. She was tearfully lamenting. I raised him with all my heart, scrimping and saving, and every month I faithfully transferred him 20,000. And now, in the end, he sides with the other woman. I have nowhere to live, I sleep in the hallway at night. The viewers in the live stream were indignant, speaking up one after another. That ungrateful wretch must pay. Give the auntie some justice. The debt of gratitude for raising you is greater than heaven. Someone who doesn't care about their own parents has lost their humanity. They deserve to die. Nailed to the pillar of shame forever, banned from civil service exams and grad school, so they can't harm anyone else. Auntie, don't be sad. I've tipped you a few yuan. We can crowdfund, contact local aid organizations. Don't worry. I watched for a while, then directly requested a video call with my mom. My mom clearly saw it. A flicker of something crossed her eyes, and she put on a frightened expression. Oh dear, my son wants to video call me. He's sure to curse me out. How dare he come to you himself? Auntie, don't be afraid. We're here for you. Accept the request, and watch me curse him out. My mom glanced at the soaring comments, smirked, and indeed accepted the request. I appeared on screen. Before the viewers could start cursing, I spoke first. Hello everyone, I'm the so-called unfilial son my mother talks about. I have some interesting things to show you all. Please take a look before you judge. I held up the stack of bank statements, which clearly showed the remitter, recipient, and transfer amounts. It's true they transfer me 20,000 every month, and it's also true that only 28.80 yuan is left. The problem is, those hundreds of thousands of yuan were all secretly transferred by my father to his mistress. I knew nothing about it. Second, why didn't I save my father? Because my parents have always been wary of me and refused to tell me the PIN. I couldn't withdraw the money. I publicly played the 2 recordings of my mom cursing me out on the phone. The atmosphere in the livestream shifted instantly. Oh my God, can those words come from a mother's mouth? Cursing her own son? How deep must the hatred be? This mother is disgusting. She clearly didn't want to give her son money, but she deliberately withheld the PIN. Wants to have it both ways. If you don't give him the PIN, what are you crying about? Without the PIN, that bank card isn't worth a pile of chicken shit. No wonder your son ignores you. I continued, finally, why did I seem to side with the mistress? You'll have to ask my mother about that yourself. I revealed all those transfer records and chat screenshots. When I needed money for study materials, 30 yuan, my mom said she didn't have it and told me to figure it out myself. Then she turned around and bought Mateo the latest iPhone, costing 8,000 yuan. Snacks and fruit at home were always for Mateo to pick first. Only after he got tired of them or didn't want them did I get the leftover, lower quality stuff. Mateo's preferences, what he liked to eat, even his shoe and clothing sizes, my mom remembered perfectly. I repeatedly emphasized that I can't eat dragon fruit because it gives me diarrhea, yet my mom would still force me to eat it, or else call me picky. When I resisted, my mom always had a ready excuse. Mateo's family situation is tough, and he's already pitiful enough. Can't you just give in to him? All those years of schooling for nothing? Mateo is not only hardworking but also has a sweet tongue. Everyone who meets him likes him. Unlike you, you dull thing, you can't do anything right. Sigh, going out with you is so embarrassing. If only Mateo were my son. My mom's lips parted slightly. She was like a statue, her face a mixture of shock, terror, the guilt of being exposed, and a trace of anger. She forced herself to stay calm. You're spouting nonsense. You've got a foothold now, so you don't want to acknowledge your mother anymore. Yes, I might have taken a little extra care of Mateo, but that's because you're such a disappointment. I smiled slightly. It's okay. Since you can't explain clearly, I trust the court will deliver a fair verdict. My mom's expression froze. Her voice trembled. What court? Theodore, don't forget, I'm your mother. I raised you. I said, I've already instructed a lawyer to sue you. You spread rumors about me online, defamation, slander, and leaked my personal information. Now that the spread has reached this scale, guess what the court will decide? My mom was completely dumbfounded. She started crying, wiping her tears, saying she had just lost her husband, and her son was unfilial, how pitiful she was. But after what had just happened, the netizens weren't buying it. The comments were unanimously cursing her, calling her deserving, and some even demanded she return the tips she received. My mom was sentenced to 1 year and 6 months. In court, she cried her eyes out, saying it was a momentary lapse, begging for my forgiveness. But I knew she wasn't truly repentant. She just hadn't expected me to sue. She was afraid of going to prison and wanted me to give her a letter of leniency. I watched coldly as she was led away. After my mom was imprisoned, Rose and her son faced their own backlash. Mateo was widely cyberbullied. People surrounded him everywhere, cursing him for his shamelessness. They also dug up that he used an iPhone while receiving financial aid. Mateo couldn't take it anymore. He withdrew from school and hid at home, refusing to go out. And his mother, Rose, after getting the inheritance, remained unsatisfied. Her ambition swelled. She followed so-called experts to learn investing, and within 3 months, she had lost everything, gradually losing all the houses and cars. Later, still dreaming of getting rich, Rose took Mateo and desperately tried to go abroad. Her last social media post was geotagged in Thailand. After that, there was no further word. A year later, my mom was released from prison. By then, I had a stable job with a decent salary, enough to support myself. My mom came to find me. She knelt at my door, crying bitterly, seemingly sincere. It was the usual stuff. Mom knows she was wrong, Mom was just momentarily confused. I'm your mother, you can't hold a grudge, the law says you have to support me. I helped her up and magnanimously said it was all in the past. I could let bygones be bygones. But I had one condition: my current apartment was too small for 2 people. She would have to move back to the old house in the countryside. My mom was overjoyed and agreed immediately. I also promised to transfer her 3,000 yuan every month. At the start of the new month, I promptly sent my mom a screenshot. Transfer out 3,000, note, living expenses. Shortly after I sent the screenshot, my mom called me. She chuckled ingratiatingly, speaking cautiously. Theodore, I received the living expenses. It's just, what's the PIN for the bank card? Hearing this, I raised my eyebrows in surprise. Mom, are you mistaken? I left the bank card for you, and now you want the PIN too? Don't be too greedy. My mom panicked, but without the PIN, how can I withdraw the money? The card is useless to me. I chuckled leisurely. Mom, that money is mine, not yours. I gave you the card. Whether you can withdraw the money is your problem. It has nothing to do with me. Hearing this eerily familiar tone, my mom finally understood. I had never intended to let her off the hook. She felt unprecedented fear. Theodore, Mom was wrong. Mom treated you badly. Please, don't hold it against your mom. Mom knows she was wrong. I didn't answer her. I hung up the phone. The setting sun was slowly sinking below the horizon, casting long shadows of the passers-by. Fortunately, my life was just beginning.